Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, prepare your ear holes for the best wrestling podcast in the world. It's time for the Hard-Hitting Wrestling Show.
Hello everyone and welcome to the hashtag Mania Challenge 2020 on the Hard-Hitting Wrestling Show podcast. I'm Obi Muniz with Hector Vasquez and Tyler Bard. It was a great first two episodes as we covered the East and Midwest regional first rounds. We got people talking about the Mania Challenge such as Steve from SCW Wrestling Channel on YouTube. We have Slam Hub Wrestling Podcast, PWO Podcast, and Alex from Armchair Wrestling. Alex also submitted his picks so that way we could have a tiebreaker throughout the tournament. So, today we are covering the South. Triple H versus Brutus Beefcake. That's right. Triple H is the number 1 seed in this bracket. We have number 8 and 9 seed Booker T versus Eddie Guerrero. Number 5 and 12 seed we have Dolph Ziggler and Tito Santana. Number 4 and 13 The Undertaker versus Ron Simmons. Number 6 versus number 11 we have Rey Mysterio versus the Big Boss Man. We have Christian and Mr. Perfect. Number 3 and 14. And then we'll sum it up with Daniel Bryan and Goldust, and number 2 seed Randy Orton versus Earthquake. Right now we are missing one member, Frank Cuesta. Hopefully he'll be with us soon. But if not and there's a tie, then more likely we may end up advancing both superstars to the next round and maybe create some type of triple threat match or a fatal 4-way. But hey, here we go. We'll get started real quick. Once again in our panel, hey Tyler, Hector, how you guys doing today?
Hey, how we doing? I'm good.
Doing great.
All right, hey, you guys ready?
Yes, sir.
Always ready. Always.
That's what I'm talking about. So hey, first match we're gonna start is with Triple H versus Brutus Beefcake. Triple H is the name. The name itself wins, man. But not Hunter Hearst Helmy. We don't want to go there. Brutus Beefcake himself was a barber. He had left WWE to go on to Japan and WCW. He was more of a shadow to Hulk Hogan. You know, him and Hogan were also tag team partners. And then, of course, Brutus Beefcake went on to become tag team partners with everyone else. But for this one, like you guys call it, it's a no-brainer. Triple H advances on my part. What do you say, Hector?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. You know, we're talking about the cerebral assassin, the game, the King of Kings. Yeah, there's no doubt about that one. Hands down, Triple H got this one.
Triple H is the man. He's running NXT like it's nothing. He is just one of the greatest performers of all time, and I think he has the potential to go pretty far in this bracket. So Triple H.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the bracket itself, it may seem that way. But also, you know, upcoming this Friday on SmackDown, we'll be celebrating 25 years of Triple H. We'll move with Booker T and Eddie Guerrero. We'll start with you, Hector.
Man, you would think this matchup would have been like somewhere in the Final Four or the Elite Eight. We start off with the first round with two great superstars, two great champions, two great Grand Slam champions, two great Hall of Famers. I mean, how much can you get down to the wire with this one? But I'm giving the slight buzzer beater to Booker T. Because Booker is a 2-time Hall of Famer, and he has a slight edge in head-to-head matchups in the WWE against Eddie Guerrero, even though they didn't have too much history in the WWE. But for a little bit that they had, I'm just giving it. I'm telling you, I take nothing away from Eddie Guerrero. I love the man, may rest in peace. But in this matchup, I'm giving it the slight advantage to Booker T.
I didn't expect that. I love Booker T. One of my favorite. But I think Eddie Guerrero is up there in that top 10 field of wrestlers who have been with WWF or WWE just for crowd reaction alone. And I went specifically to one match, and it was Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero for the title And when Eddie beat Brock Lesnar, it was like the winning shot of the World Cup. That place went bonkers when Eddie won that match. The fans have always loved him, whether he was a heel or a face. His feuds with Ray, with Chavo, with Edge, with Kurt Angle, he was just an incredible performer. And I hate to put anyone over either of these two guys, but I have to take Eddie Guerrero in this one.
You're going to set me up on this one because Alex did pick Eddie Guerrero. And now I have to listen to you guys. I kind of really messed up on my stats real quick because I guess I got Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio mixed up. But I'm real quick to adjust here. Singles match. Okay, well, let's look at the singles match. Booker T has defeated Eddie Guerrero. And I have to give Booker T that advantage right there because head-to-head, Booker T, he got it. And then at top of that, Booker T and Eddie Guerrero were also tag team partners, which they ended up losing to Jeff Hardy and Rob Van Dam. But I gotta say Booker T, man.
Wow.
I think Booker T.
All right.
So
I respect it. I can't be mad about it.
I'm looking at the comments here and don't see anyone making any picks right now. Hey, Angel Diaz is on board. Thank you. But he mentioning Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit is in fact in another bracket, so believe me,
he's coming up. He's coming up.
He's coming up, and as a matter of fact, he's in the West, so we haven't covered that yet. But hey, who you guys have? Do you have Booker T or do you have Eddie Guerrero? Let me know before we move. We'll leave that for last, okay? To see if we get more additional votes. But hey, let's talk about Dolph Ziggler and Tito Santana. We got the number 5 seed versus 12.
I get Tito Santana. I understand how prevalent he was during the WWF era and WCW era, and how his title reigns were iconic, and he held the belts for so long. But I just think Dolph Ziggler, former World Heavyweight Championship in his own right, multi-time Intercontinental US tag. He's held just about every belt you could hold in the WWE except the NXT title and the North American title. So coming from my standpoint, I just think Dolph is a better performer, a better wrestler than Tito ever was. I can respect Tito's greatness, but Dolph is just one of the best sellers of every move. He makes everyone look good in the ring. And you can always expect a great match out of Dolph Ziggler. So I'm going to take Dolph over Tito here.
Right, and Alex from the Armchair Wrestling also picked Ziggler. I myself picked Dolph Ziggler. I think he accomplished more than Santana. And looking at Santana's resume while with the WWE, I kind of question to see really how did he get to the Hall of Fame.
It's a different era, man.
Different era, I understand, but I'm more looking at how many titles and how long did you held that title and stuff like that. But hey, that's for another topic there.
It's kind of crazy you said that, because looking at Tito Santana's history, people kind of overlook the fact that he won the King of the Ring back in '89. I mean, it's kind of crazy. You wouldn't think of somebody like that, He was prevalent, when it came to singles matches, Intercontinental titles, tag team champion. Overall, Ziggler, I think, is just a better performer, and in-ring stylist and everything. So I'm going to give this one to Ziggler hands down. But Tito Santana, he has a little bit. I think his small little reason to why he's in the Hall of Fame, and I believe he's rightfully belong in there. So, but it's Ziggler in this one.
That's good. Dolph Ziggler advances to the second round, and his potential opponent will be the winner of this match, The Undertaker versus Ron Simmons.
Get out of here.
Everyone knows The Undertaker here. But if you want to know history between these two, Taker did face Ron Simmons head-to-head, and it was a 3-0. 3 wins, 0 losses. Taker's last match with Simmons is when Simmons was named Farouk. They were in the same team with JBL called the Acolytes Protection Agency, the APA. In a tag team match, Taker and Big Show remained tag team champions in a triple threat match against the APA and Kane and X-Pac. they were tag teams. So hats off to the Undertaker. He wins. He gets my vote.
Yeah, just like Tyler said, damn.
Damn.
Him is in there with the Undertaker. Nah, Undertaker finishes him off in this one. Head to head, and Undertaker's resume is just much better than him. So Undertaker wins this one.
I think this word is going to come up a lot in this bracket, but Undertaker brings this word of legend to the table and raises it above where Ron Simmons is. Ron Simmons is definitely a legend in WWE. I mean, if you can have a one-word catchphrase that everyone knows that hasn't seen you wrestle in close to 15-ish years, and everyone still says, damn, every time they see him, that's pretty incredible. But Undertaker has in the top 10 matches in WWE history, he probably has 5 of them. You know, Undertaker is one of the most incredible in-ring performers of all time, and no one can take that from him. Undertaker, hands down.
So the second round, we'll see Ziggler and Undertaker. Let's move on to Rey Mysterio versus the Big Boss Man. Hector.
Yeah, okay. Come on now. Rey Mysterio, man, he won the Royal Rumble. You know, he defied the odds as being the small man in the WWE, winning
from number 1.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and then goes on and wins the World Heavyweight title. He's been WWE champion. He's a Grand Slam champion himself, you know. So, you know, Boss Man, well, he was just pretty much like a bodyguard to everybody he's been associated with. So, you know, there's really not much there, but I got Rey Mysterio on this.
Rey Mysterio, man, I've met Rey Mysterio. He's an incredible guy. One of my favorite wrestlers. He's actually the one when I didn't know wrestling all that much growing up. And the first match I saw was Rey Mysterio versus Kane on a random episode of SmackDown, I believe it was. And Rey Mysterio became the reason I started watching wrestling when I saw him hit the 619 into a West Coast Pop. That was his top rope finisher. I loved Rey Mysterio. One of the best performers of all time. You got to go with Rey Mysterio.
Okay, so did Armchair Wrestling with Rey Mysterio. I kind of see this differently because of the fact that neither one of them actually faced each other. So then I had to compare between the Boss Man and which opponent will resemble the Boss Man against Rey Mysterio. Would it be Mark Henry? You think they have the same build, the same body frame, the same everything? And then I'm like, okay, well, Henry had beaten Mysterio 3-1 with 2 disqualifications. So I said, well, what about if we substitute Henry and put the Big Boss Man there? And then I looked at Rey and I said, well, Rey rarely defeated any big, tall men in the ring. He lost more against big people than people at his height or his weight. You know what I mean? So because of that, I have picked the Big Boss Man.
Wow.
If you don't remember, Rey Mysterio won the WWE Championship. And then a few minutes later, he ended up going against John Cena. And then Cena defeated him. So it's like I said, I mean, any big man that go against Rey Mysterio, they get that win. They don't give Rey Mysterio that courtesy. And you're right, Hector. You know, he's won the Royal Rumble before, and just I don't know. Like I said, I picked the Big Boss Man, but it is what it is. Rey Mysterio gets the vote. He goes into the second round, and that leads us to our next match with Christian and Mr. Perfect.
Oh gosh, you know. This looks like it should be hard on paper, Mr. Perfect versus Christian, because they're both very big, prominent names in the WWE. Both very big, I believe, both Canadian names in the WWE. But I am a bigger fan, and I think has had better matches of Christian. Christian and Edge, that tag team, Kazoo playing Fiends, going toe-to-toe with some of the best tag teams in history, is really main event status. For someone who hasn't won as many titles as I think he should have won, I just think overall, better performer, better main eventer than Mr. Perfect was or ever could have hoped to be.
So you're picking Christian?
Correct.
Okay. Armchair Wrestling picked Mr. Perfect. I picked Mr. Perfect, and the reason why is because you said it. I mean, Mr. Perfect hasn't had that much title reign just because during that time there weren't that many titles to go for. But Mr. Perfect was perfect, but could not defeat Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior. He did defeat the second time to Kerry Von Erich, who was the Texas Tornado, to become the two-time Intercontinental Champion. Now, as far as Christian, he was fabulous with the tag team champions with Edge. Edge and Christian defeated the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys. They have the history where they were in the triple threat match, the ladder match at WrestleMania.
Historic match.
Right, very historic indeed. But then Christian and Edge rivalry in which Christian won the Intercontinental Championship. But he didn't, like I said, I mean, later down the road, Christian ended up losing to Edge for that title. So, I mean, his reign, I mean, he had that storyline where he wanted one more time. And
that was funny.
You didn't get that out of Mr. Perfect, you know. So, in my sense, I picked Mr. Perfect on this one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hector?
Yeah, you know, Mr. Perfect, you know, there was a time when in the WWF he was undefeated for a while, you know, thus naming him Mr. Perfect, you know. But again, you know, when it came to those big high-profile matches, you know, he had a hard time, you know, trying to win those kind of matches, like you said, you know, whether it be Hogan or Warrior, whatever the case may be. It took Christian a very long time to even become a world champion, you know. But when you look at the Intercontinental title, Christian has won that title more than Mr. Perfect has. Okay.
Sure.
So, you know, with Christian, he can do it on the single side himself, you know, as the Intercontinental Champion. So right there, I say I give the edge to Christian on this one.
Tied again, boys.
Tied again. I like it. I like it. But, you know, you guys say that, you know, Christian had multiple chances, but you didn't get that much chances back in the 80s. That's what I was trying to get at.
No, that's true.
Yeah, he was a two-time champion, but it's not like you could cross brands. This is only one brand. It's not as big as what it is now, you know? And, I mean, it's kind of hard to determine who gets more television time than anything else, but there was rivalries after rivalries. Everyone had a storyline that was built in, and that was what made it so unique back in the 80s. You know, like now people are forgotten because they don't get that opportunity. So imagine everyone else getting the same equal opportunity, television time, and getting that. Do you think that Christian would have had that many chances of getting the championship or world titles?
I mean, it's possible, but it's hard to put that into a tangible sense because it wasn't a thing. It just there weren't as many titles, and I don't think we can hold that against Christian, nor can we hold that against Mr. Perfect. Christian just entered the business at a better place and a better time where you have more opportunity, and we just have to take the facts that we do have, in my opinion, rather than speculate onto what could be.
Well, I'll tell you this much, man. Mr. Perfect would have been perfect defeating Christian, but hey. We'll save that. We'll save that decision for later. We'll move on to Daniel Bryan.
Look at those comments. Look at those comments. Don't you move on just yet. Don't you move on just yet.
Okay. We'll move on. We'll come back to it. Don't worry. Daniel Bryan versus Goldust. Number 7, number 10 seed. Never faced each other face to face. They were in the same team. Goldust and his brother Cody Rhodes for a few matches. Yeah. One of those 6-man tags and stuff like that. But Bryan defeated Cena for the WWE Championship, and Goldust defeated Razor Ramon for the Intercontinental Championship. But we have already seen Goldust in and out of wrestling, and we know the history with him and with the WWE and the drama that got him back to the WWE. But as far as for Daniel Bryan, this guy's, you could resemble him as Mr. Perfect because he's a technician when it comes to wrestling, and Daniel Bryan has my vote.
Yeah, I got Daniel Bryan. I mean, he's a great all-around wrestler in the ring, you know, with everything that he does. Goldust, I think, just as Goldust himself, is just a comedic gimmick. You know, everybody loved it, you know. Not taking it away enough from his wrestling. No, I just say Daniel Bryan. I think Daniel Bryan would have put him in the submission mode and made him tap out. So I I got Bryan in this one.
I love Goldust, and I hate to disrespect Goldust, but Daniel Bryan's one of the greatest in-ring performers of this era, of the new era. And he has two of my favorite Mania matches at the very same WrestleMania. First versus Triple H, then versus Randy Orton and Batista. So I can't go against him. He's phenomenal. You got to pick Daniel Bryan here.
Is he phenomenal? Is he really? I mean, he's not AJ Styles. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, AJ Styles is 6 feet underground, and Daniel Bryan's not. So,
yeah, because he's 6 feet under, so did the farewell of the OCs. But hey, that's another story.
Oh man, yeah, he couldn't protect them.
But hey, let's change things around. Let's change the order around. This time we go from Tyler to Hector to me. Number 2 seed and number 15 seed. We have Randy Orton versus Earthquake.
I mean, again, this is just a wash. Randy Orton's incredible. Generational superstar. His dad wrestled before him. It just runs in the blood. He's an incredible, incredible athlete. Some of the better matches. His match with Edge just at this last WrestleMania was so much fun. A little long, but so much fun. And I just think, neither of the natural disasters could stand toe-to-toe against Randy Orton. So Randy Orton gets the easy win here.
Yeah, just like Randy Orton's theme music, the first couple of lines in his lyrics, it says, I hear voices in my head. They counsel me. They understand. They talk to me. Well, my voices are talking to me in my head. And they say that Randy Orton will RKO Earthquake in the loudest way in the ring. So Randy Orton will win this one, hands down.
Absolutely.
Oh, well. I only got 3 letters that's already demonstrated in the sports entertainment industry. And that is RKO.
Out of nowhere.
Enough said.
Watch out.
I tell you what, though. I tell you what, man. If he was to RKO Earthquake, that whole ring will break. Just how we witnessed Big Show and Mark Henry.
Yeah, we'd have a real earthquake on our hands.
With more dust coming in the air, I tell you that.
No, Goldust was in the last round. We moved on.
Wow, yeah. You know what I meant. But anyways, hey, let's backtrack real quick because, again, we have to have a winner or we'll make that decision to where we'll move in and make it a triple threat match. So, questionable call is Booker T versus Eddie Guerrero. We got Jim Bard in the house, and if he wants to make his pick, Booker T or Eddie Guerrero.
Booker T or Eddie, Dad? What do you got, huh?
The other match we couldn't make a decision was Christian and Mr. Perfect.
Is anyone willing to bend on this one?
They're both good. I mean, I'll change my pick. I'll say Christian just because he was a world champion, and Mr. Perfect never got that. He never defeated Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior, which other superstars had their success in doing so. So
we just need an answer to this other one here. Oh no!
Oh, we got our answer.
No!
I guess we will not have a triple threat match, and sure enough, Booker T will make it to the second round by himself. Wow. Thank you. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen. For the second round of the South, we have Triple H versus Booker T. We're going to have Dolph Ziggler versus The Undertaker. You also have Rey Mysterio versus Christian and Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. So things are going to be pretty interesting. I think it's like that across the board anyway.
Absolutely.
With so far for the 3 brackets that we covered. Let's review what's going to happen on our next podcast, in which we'll be covering the West. And number 1 seed on the West is Chris Jericho. We have a number 2 seed, The Miz. But then we'll carry out with Jake the Snake Roberts. Seth Rollins is in this, The Ultimate Warrior. And Angel Diaz was talking about Chris Benoit. Chris Benoit is number 6 seed in this. We also have AJ Styles and Mick Foley.
He's dead.
So this is this is pretty interesting to see how the whole thing shapes up. Excuse me, and of course, CM Punk. Before anything else, we would like to say our condolences to Howard Finkel. who is the legend ring announcer that passed away this past week. So our condolences to his family, friends, fans, and everyone affected to his loss. On behalf of Tyler, Hector, myself, Ovi Muniz, thank you for listening to the Hard Hittin' Wrestling Show. Until then, we'll see you next time. Take care, everyone.
Peace.